Today is April 11th, 2022. This is your daily Half-Life 3 update. There is no news about Half-Life 3. So there is something worth talking about, I think, and this comes from Tyler McVicker. So I'm sure you guys have probably at least heard of him. He does, he covers Valve a little bit more than I do. I'm strictly Half-Life 3. So he actually gets news and things to talk about because, Valve does other things. Dota's a thing. I don't know what the hell it is, but it's a thing Valve does. So he was talking about HLX, which is potentially another upcoming Half-Life game. Because we already have Citadel, which I think is just Citadel. I don't think it's Half-Life Citadel. But Citadel is... I don't really understand what Citadel is either, to be honest. It's like multiplayer, FPS, RTS, VR, all the acronyms you can think of. Just probably something that I'm never going to actually play. But HLX is supposedly different from HLVR. Now, what I'm imagining is that this would be a expansion, spin-off type deal like we got from Half-Life and Half-Life 2. An expansion of Half-Life Alyx. So it would just probably be VR, Source 2 engine, and they would improve some stuff. He was mentioning how he saw files or whatever, references to Melee and Stealth. So they're adding they're supposedly adding some form of stealth and a melee system, which I think a lot of people agreed that Half-Life Alyx was kind of lacking some form of melee. When it's like a staple of Half-Life, honestly, is being able to whack at things with the crowbar, or I think Adrian Shepard gets a wrench in Opposing Force, if I'm not mistaken. But anyway, being able to just whack aliens just kind of feels like a Half-Life thing. Was it a crowbar coming down a steel corridor? That's actually a really good line. So yeah, it's probably not going to be Half-Life 3. Like I said, it's probably going to be just another some form of expansion of Half-Life Alyx. He mentioned that, and I didn't know this, that the Half-Life 2 episodes were used like HLX. Of course, there were like a lot of episodes and not all of them happened. I think episode 4 got further into production than episode 3 did. They had that Ravenholm thing where you played as Adrian Shepard again. I talked about that a while ago. All that information came out. But yeah, so that could be like another hint that it might be an expansion. I also think it's worth mentioning that X, Roman numeral 10, and this would technically be the 10th Half-Life, game, quote unquote, if you count Half-Life, Blue Shift, Opposing Force, Decay, Half-Life 2, Lost Coast, Episode 1, Episode 2, and Alyx. HLX would be 10. I mean, I don't know if you really count Lost Coast as its own game, and then of course you got 2 Portal games, and you got a couple Portal stuff, because you got like Portal Bridge, the Portal Bridge game, I don't know what it's called, Portal Bridge Constructor, maybe, and like some desk game, some Portal desk related game. I never talked about that they released for the Steam Deck. I didn't really talk about the Steam Deck much either. I don't just talk about Steam and Valve in general, because I don't care all that much. I don't care about a new hat that they released for Team Fortress 2. Portal was fun. I think I've maybe played Team Fortress 2 once or twice. Like I said, I'm not good at video games, so multiplayer is definitely not my area of expertise. Don't typically go for multiplayer all that much, because I just suck and always lose. So what's the point? But yeah, I mean, it'd be interesting to see what this could be. I guess you gotta have some false hope that this could be Half-Life 3. I wouldn't think it would be Half-Life 3. I would think Half-Life 3 would be the next big tentpole game. It's not just going to be a cheap spin-off of Alex. You know, like Half-Life 3 would be on Source 3, if they would ever even make a Source 3, but probably not. I don't know. I don't like watching Tyler McVicker's videos too much, because I always get depressed. I don't like hearing about how Valve operates. Hearing stories about Valve and how they work and how they operate is really frustrating. Because I just want them to make a game, and apparently there's like no structure, and nobody has to do anything, and they'll just work on a game for 5 months, and then they'll get bored, and they'll stop working on it, and then they'll just work on something else, and it's, you know, it's annoying. It's like, I don't know. But yeah, HLX, that's a thing. That's gonna come. I would assume it's gonna come after Citadel, probably, because I've heard more about Citadel. I've heard more that I don't really even understand about Citadel. But basically, what this means for the channel is that in the foreseeable future, every once in a while, I will have a comment that says, "What about HLX?" It's been a while since I've had comments like those. I used to have a lot of comments where it was like, well, what about Half-Life Alyx? Or what about HLVR? What about Project Borealis? And like, I would talk about these things when they were relevant, but I'm not going to mention them every single Half-Life 3 update because they have nothing to do with Half-Life 3. And is Project Borealis even happening anymore? Is that even a thing? And there was another one that I think got cancelled, like Borealf or something, or I don't even know. I don't even know, man. This is a long video. If you're still watching and you haven't already, make sure you check out the Patreon. Patreon.com/HazardTime. Got some good stuff. Probably going to put up my Eraserhead review tomorrow. And there's just going to keep on being stuff. And yeah. And that has been your daily Half-Life 3 update for April 11th, 2022.